Welcome back to River University. I'm your coach, Dave Larson. In the last episode, we talked about facing a 4-bet and deciding whether or not to call. So if you haven't seen that episode, go back and watch. We had a lot of fun, and it'll make you understand what's going on in this episode. In this episode, we're going to go over the homework from that episode, where I gave you a couple slightly different scenarios and asked how that affects your decision when you're faced with the 4-bet all-in. So let's see how you did. So question 1 said, if hero has ace, king of hearts, and the villain has queens or better, should hero call or fold? So if you remember, in this hand, the villain raised to 7,500, I re-raised to 20,000, and then he went all in for 60,000, and I have to decide whether or not to call or fold. So I'm going to keep those numbers the same, which means that it'll be the same percentage of equity that I need to call. There was $5,000 of dead money in the pot. I bet 20,000, then the villain went all in for 60,000, which means that the pot itself is worth 85,000, and it cost me 40,000 to call, so I'm getting a little bit over 2-to-1, which is about 30% equity needed. So if I go to propokertools.com or any equity calculator, I'm going to put in ace, king of hearts, and remember on Pro Poker Tools that instead of saying ace, king, S for suited, that'll give you the king of spades. So we want to do ace, X, king, X of the same suit. And we're going to give villain queens and better. So just put queen, queen, plus. Or you can list queens, comma, kings, comma, aces, and simulate. You'll see that ace, king suited has actually 35, almost 35% equity against queens and better. And that's better than 32% equity. So while jacks did a lot worse, had 18% equity, ace, king suited does a lot better. And that's for a couple of reasons. One is we're flipping against queens. And the other is that because we have an ace and a king, it means that there are one less ace and one less king that the opponent can have, which means that instead of having 6 combinations of aces and 6 combinations of kings, he's down to 3 of each. So the percentage of time he's got aces and kings is lower. And actually, ace, king suited does better against kings than jacks does, because that 1 over and the possibility of a straight and a flush really makes ace, king suited a better hand against pocket kings. So if we do have ace, king suited and we know our opponent's hands, then it's a clear call. Question 2. If hero has ace, king suited and we know that he can have queens or he can also have ace, king suited, does this make it a call or a fold? Well, since it was a call against queens and better, if we throw an ace, king suited where we're chopping, it's definitely still a call. Our equity is going to be better than it was last time, so this time it's still a call. Last, you know that villain has kings or aces, but he starts the hand with only 40k instead of starting with 60k. So it costs us less to call, which means we need less equity to make the call profitable. So I'm going to go back to the calculator. I'm just going to change the villain's bet from 60,000 to 40,000. So you can see that when we win, the pot is 65,000, and when we lose, it only costs us 20,000 more to call. And that means we're getting over 3-to-1, and we need slightly less than 25% or 23.5% against villain's range. Unfortunately, we know he's only doing this with kings and aces, and we have pocket jacks. And as we saw last time, pocket jacks against kings and aces doesn't do so good. Pocket jacks against kings and aces is actually 18.7%, which is less than the 23% that we need. So even if that price is lower, we're getting a better odds on our call. If we know he doesn't have ace king in there, then it's still a fold. Now, one thing you may want to ask as you're doing these kind of homework questions is, well, how much is the right price? When is it a break-even call, even when you know he's got an overpair? So we see our equity here is at 18.7%. I'm going to go back to the calculator, and 40,000 chips was too many. So I'm going to try, what if it's only 10,000 to call? And you can see at 30,000 chips, it's definitely a call. It's 15.5%. I'll just keep playing. So about 35,000. Even at 35,000, it's less. We need 20% equity, and we don't have it. We've got 18% equity. Let's try at 33,000. And at 33,000, it's about break even. It's 18.3%. I think we said that our probability of winning here was 18.6%. So let's put that in, 0.186. And at 33,000 chips, we were getting a 200 chip plus EV call. The blinds are 2,000, so it's a tenth of a big blind. So we're going to say that's break even. If you liked this video and you thought it helped you play better tournament poker, then you should definitely subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter at RiverU University. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon. Class dismissed.